notice, and this is the typical copyright. We continue with mathematics syllabus for CSEC 2018 to 2027. Schedule of videos. These first three sections, 1, 2, and 3, all 51 videos have been published on YouTube in their entirety. Section 4, measurement. All 17 of those videos have been completed, but only 5 are published in their entirety on YouTube. Section 5, statistics. This is the 8th of 17 videos from this section, and I am well behind schedule. After that, section 6, algebra, then section 7, relations, functions, and graphs, section 8, geometry and trigonometry, and finally section 9, vectors and matrices. As I said, I'm well behind schedule, so most likely this schedule would have to be pushed back. Section 1, number theory and computation. All 33 of these videos are published on YouTube in their entirety, specifically because this section forms the foundation on which the rest of the syllabus is based. So 33 videos. Make sure you look at all of them and know them well. Another reminder, you need to know the times tables 2 to 12. If you already know them, fine. If not, you will have to learn them, especially since calculators are not allowed in paper 1. From section 2, as I said before, consumer arithmetic, all 12 of these videos have been published on YouTube in their entirety. From section 3, sets, all 6 of these videos have been published on YouTube in their entirety. And from section 4, measurement, some of these have been published on YouTube in their entirety, as shown, highlighted in yellow here, and the others are only published partially. From this section, there are 17 videos. We are now at section 5, statistics. Before we go on, recall I said in the introductory video that you will need a good math textbook or a set of 2 to get more practice questions. CSEC recommends the following, shown at right here. From that list, pay close attention to these last 2 down here. They form a very good 2-volume set of mathematics textbooks that is quite adequate for the current CSEC math exam. Here is a picture of volume 1, mathematics, a complete course with CXC questions by Raymond Tulsi. And this is a picture of volume 2. Disclaimer, I get no financial or other benefits from the sale of these books. Also, as of late 2024, a website with AI interactivity has been made available free of cost that deals with past CSEC math questions only, that is, questions from paper 2. You can navigate by topics or years, where all questions for the past several years have been worked out for you. If you still have a question that you need explained, you can ask the AI assistant either by text or voice, and most likely that will be explained for you. It is extremely important that you become familiar with how CSEC sets its questions for paper 2 and what will be considered as good answers to such questions. This is the URL for that website. On the next slide, I will show you what the home page looks like for that website. This is what you see here. Is the home page. You would have to register first, and subsequent to that, sign in. Here is the URL again. I will include this URL in the description below in this video, so that all you would have to do is click on it and you will be redirected to this website. Just a reminder that for the math exam at the CSEC level, you will be provided with a formula sheet as shown on the left here. There will be a link in the description below where you can download this formula sheet. Of course, if you have the syllabus, this formula sheet is in the syllabus. A closer look at the formula sheet. This is the top part. You may see a number of formulae here that you already know. And then this is the below part of that same formula sheet. Again, there may be a few formulae here that you already know. However, since you will be provided with such a formula sheet, you don't actually have to memorize these formulae, but you do need to know when and how to use them. Statistics, section 5. This is a print screen from the syllabus. We have completed these 5 objectives here in 7 videos, because these 2 here, objective 4 and objective 5, actually take 2 videos each. Another print screen, continuing. We are now here in video 8, objective 6. And then after that, we have to go up to objective 14 in this section. I have divided those 14 objectives into 17 videos. 17 videos. The reason being that some of them, as I said, objective 5, 4, 2 videos, objective 5, 5, 2 videos, and objective 5, 7, 2 videos, and that will account for all 17 videos. We have reached this point here at this red mark. These 2 have been published in their entirety. These others only partially published. And we are at objective 5.6, video, VID, video 8. So we are now here. When I'm finished with this, it will be published partially only. Note that this section is of particular interest and importance, as you will have to make use of many of these concepts in your SBAs, whether that SBA is physics, chemistry, biology, POB, social studies, history, whatever. You would have to perform analysis and interpretation for one of the SBAs. You would have to collect data. You have to analyze the data, often using a graph, most likely a line graph or other types of graphs, and then interpreting and also extracting information from that graph. Doing a projection from the graph is also required. So as I said, we are here. Determine when it is most appropriate to use mean, median, and mode as the average for a set of data. And some explanatory notes talk about the levels of measurement: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. You also need to consider extreme values and recurring values. So let's talk about the levels of measurement. There are 2 broad types of measurements, and each type can be further divided into 2 levels, and all 4 of them may be considered as forming the 4 levels of measurements, from lowest to highest. The first broad level is categorical, and the next one is numerical. Categorical has 2 levels. nominal, no rank or ordering, and ordinal, natural order or rank. And numerical, you have interval. It is measurable, but it has arbitrary zero. And finally, ratio is measurable with true zeros. We will explain these as we go along. So why is this important? Well, the level of measurement determines which statistical test can be used on them. You cannot use mean on all of them. So now for a little more on these levels of measurement. This is here so you could keep track of what we are doing. Let's begin with nominal. What does that mean? So nominal data is a categorical type of data that is used to label or categorize variables without assigning any numerical value or order to them. It simply provides names or labels for different categories. For example, gender, male or female, hair color, black, brown, blonde, different types of fruits, apples, oranges, bananas, are all examples of nominal data. Then the next one is ordinal. What are those? Ordinal data is the other categorical data level, have a meaningful order or ranking, but the differences between the categories are not necessarily equal. Examples include survey results on a scale of 1 to 10, income level, low, medium, high, or education level, high school, college, postgraduate. So that's the second of the two categorical type of data. If you find this video useful and interesting, please like and share. That is, like and share. You may also consider subscribing to this channel. Now we look at the first of the numerical type of data. It's called interval. Interval data is measured along a numerical scale that has equal distances between adjacent values. These distances are called intervals, of course. They are ordered data where the differences between values hold meaning, such as temperature or dates. It allows for meaningful calculations like averages and standard deviations, offering more analysis possibilities compared to the two categorical types of data. There is one problem though. Its 0 point is arbitrary. The classic example is degree Celsius, talking about 0 arbitrary point. From 20 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius, the difference is 10 degrees Celsius. No problem. From 0 degrees to 10 degrees Celsius, the difference is also 10 degrees Celsius. But what does 0 degrees Celsius mean? That there is no temperature at all? No. So that 0 is arbitrary. It uses the freezing point of pure water as 0. We could have as well used the freezing point of pure ethanol or some other liquid at room temperature. So pure water is chosen as an arbitrary value. Now for the final level of numerical data measurement scale, we look at ratio numeric. What is this? Ratio data is a type of numerical data where values have equal intervals between them. So far so good. That is almost like interval. However, it also has a true 0 point, allowing for meaningful comparisons and calculations. So that's the difference between interval and ratio. The scale has a true 0 and no negative values, allowing researchers to discover and describe the amount of magnitude involved. For example, length, money, age, duration, and the mass can all be measured on a ratio scale. This also includes temperature in the degrees Kelvin. Remember, not Celsius nor Fahrenheit, because those zeros are arbitrary, but not for degrees Kelvin. The classic example in the degrees Kelvin is that 0 degrees Kelvin actually means no temperature, actually means zero. Whereas 0 Celsius or 0 degrees Fahrenheit don't really mean no temperature. So why is this important? Well, the level of measurement determines which statistical tests can be used on them. So remember the level of measurements. You have two types, categorical and numerical. And those have two levels each, nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So these are what you can do with the types of data. For nominal, there's not much you can do. Categories and mode, that's about it. So if you have nominal data, you can't find mean. Now for ordinal data, you could do a few more things. You can rank and you can find the median if you have ordinal data type. For interval, you could do a few more things than what you could do with ordinals because you are now dealing with numbers. So you can add and subtract. You can also find the mean. And it has equal spacing. So these are other things that you can now do with interval numerical data that you cannot do with any of the categorical data. And finally, the ratio is the highest level. And you could do all these things you see listed here on the left from 1 to 10. You could do all of those with ratio numerical data. In this class, we will not deal with geometric mean, but we can use this type of data to find geometric mean. So that's why we need to know about the levels of measurement, nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. As you go up, the numbers become more sophisticated.